all like my parents, when you think of Chicago, you think of people getting shot. But there's actually another way Chicago pumps you full of lead. Just hold on and take a little sip of water while simultaneously continuing to read the teleprompter. In water? What? In April of this year, the Chicago Tribune published an independent analysis of Chicago tap water. Of the approximately 2,800 homes tested in the last 2 years, lead was found in 70%, meaning more homes have lead in their water than have two parents. Now, as I'm sure you've been made aware of by living on this planet for any amount of time, exposure to lead is bad. It can cause irreversible brain damage, especially for those with developing brains, like babies and the people in charge of MoviePass. In adults, lead can also cause forgetfulness, high blood pressure, kidney damage, and forgetfulness. Now, why is this happening? Well, treated water from Lake Michigan, like a pencil, according to the school know-it-all, is actually lead-free. But the water becomes contaminated after passing through Chicago's lead pipes. And now we got a lot of these because up until 1986, it was mandatory for Chicago's pipes to be made of lead. And if that sounds too recent for you, it is. Most cities at that time were already passing laws edging away from using lead pipes because everyone knew that lead was bad. That's like if today you mandated that your film had to be produced by Harvey Weinstein. We know that that's not good. Stop! And why haven't you heard anything about this? Well, historically, the city has only conducted the minimum amount of testing required by the EPA. The minimum is, hold on, I hate to do this again, but I just gotta take a little sip of water here. 50 homes? Okay, handle this. Every 3 years? My Apple Watch. That's 0.00004%. And if you round that up to the nearest integer, that comes to nothing. But through the Tribune's testing, the lead and water ratio in some areas of Chicago averages as high as 17.6 parts per billion, which is over 3 times the FDA's limit for bottled water. And they only let 2 parts of hydrogen in there. Experts and anyone agrees that the best way to fix the problem is probably by replacing the lead pipes. Well, almost anyone. Chicago's mayor and Batman who doesn't feel like suiting up, Rahm Emanuel, has repeatedly denied that Chicago has a lead problem, even though we consistently have some of the highest levels of childhood lead poisoning in the country, which probably explains the high percentage of improv teams. And Rahm is not the only one. The Chicago Water Management Commissioner, Randy Connor, has said, and I quote, "Chicago has the best drinking water and the cleanest drinking water that is ever to be found." It turns out he's only ever been here in Flint, Michigan. Rahm also says that it's up to homeowners, not the city, to replace lead pipes at their own expense, which kind of translates to rich people get to drink clean water and people who don't have an extra $2,000 to $8,000 lying around do not. You're equally screwed if you don't live in a building you own, like anyone born after 1988. We never will. To Rahm, water is a luxury, like going on vacation or having a school in your neighborhood. Now, make sure to go out and vote in 2019. If you feel like I can't even keep a small plant alive, let alone be the person responsible for keeping lead out of my water supply, don't worry. Well, do, but a little bit less, because there are some things you can do. First things first, you can order a free test kit at www.chicagowaterquality.org or just by calling 311. You can also familiarize yourself with some common misconceptions. For instance, the EPA recommends flushing water for 3 to 5 minutes, but 20% of Chicago homes show higher levels of lead after the tap had been running for 3 minutes. Something else to know, boiling water does not get rid of lead, but it will warm up the lead. And importantly, if you think you're safe because you have a Brita filter, you're probably not. Lots of filters do not filter out lead. In fact, many of the common ones don't. So when buying a filter, check the specs. The EPA recommends ones that cover lead. So, you guys, I think it's time we, I'm sorry, just give me 1 second here. Gotta take a little sip of water. I'll keep reading the prompter. Swallow the hard truth and get this taken care of.